Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I went ahead and filmed my overhead press today. I was really hoping the Thanksgiving feast would fuel some really good numbers, but it really didn't. And I guess it's because I've gotten really clean on my diet lately that I just didn't overeat and cheat the way I normally would on a Thanksgiving. I really didn't. I ended up eating, God, probably 50% of my food was just turkey breast. I had some fruit salad. I did have a little ice cream at the end, and that's like the first ice cream I've had in months. But I didn't go really overboard the way I thought I might, and I probably barely went over my maintenance calories for the day, not much over. I didn't notice any extra bloating this morning, anything else. I'm not really super happy with this overhead press workout. You guys know I've been adjusting my technique a bit. Some of it's working well, at least the upside. I can at least lock the weight now, although I need to get my torso forward more at the lockout. Videoing it's letting me know that. The other thing is that I had to rush this workout, and I didn't get long enough breaks between my sets to regain my strength to get my 10 sets. So I had to drop the weight down. I think the 5th set here, I failed it. Like this one, my first set was pretty good. And the thing I will note, my change in grip and me actually pushing my hips forward and squeezing my glutes, I don't get any lower back soreness and I don't get any wrist soreness now. Now, some of these I am struggling a little bit to really keep my wrist from bending very much. You have to have some wrist bend. People have this misconception that some heavy weight you're going to be able to lock your hand like a fist. I can't even do that with anything heavier than an empty bar. Even when I've been benching way over 300 for reps, I can't do that. My hand won't do that with even 100 pounds. So how people expect anyone to do that, I don't know. Maybe my wrists are built different than other people. But this grip I'm using now, I don't get any wrist pain. Now today, I wasn't quite as strong as I had hoped for. I wasn't as strong as I've been hoped for. You guys know I've been adjusting my technique, trying to set my hips farther forward, adjusting the way I grip the bar, and then lifting my chest to it. Rather than letting my wrist bend back to make contact, I take a deep breath and lift my chest and pull my torso back so that I can make contact and get a dead stop on the chest at the bottom. Because that is a press. You have to touch your chest on the press. If you're not, then you are not doing a press. And so whatever weight you think you're lifting doesn't count. Like if you were to go put it on a strength standards chart, it doesn't count. Does not. But my shoulder mobility is going better. At least I can lock the weight now. I can lock the weight at the top. I still need to keep working on it. My shoulder mobility is not 100% of where it needs to be, and I'm going to have to keep working on it. I'm an older lifter. This is the sort of thing that for a lot of you younger guys, man, you'd do some shoulder mobility work and in a week or two, you'd be perfect, right? I'm turning 41 in a few weeks. I'm turning 41 in like 3 weeks, actually. I don't get that sort of stuff back that quick. I bet it's going to take me a month to really get my shoulders as mobile as they need to be, to really push my head and everything forward on that lockout where it needs to be. It's going to take a bit. Now, I think this might be the set where I failed. Probably is. If not, it'll be the next one. I think it's this one. No, I got it. So what ended up happening, I decided from now on these workouts, I'm going to do less accessory work. I need to have a day where I come in and I do my damnedest to get 10 sets. Because what is it that we know from all the scientific literature now? What drives hypertrophy? What drives adaptation? It's volume. I'm lifting heavy. I'm using low reps. I have to get enough volume to drive adaptation. If I don't get muscle growth to go with the neural adaptation by doing enough volume, it's not going to work. And because I can come in and dedicate an entire day to each of these lifts, see that one, I'm failing already there. This set was hard. This set was very hard. So back to my other point, there you go, failed it. Now, that being said, I took 20 pounds off, but part of this was I had to rush today's workout. I didn't get the breaks I needed to replicate my performance, so I just went ahead and did this, and we'll get back to it in a second to what I'm doing with the 10 sets. Brittany had somewhere she had to be, and she didn't tell me. She slept later than I thought. I realized once we get in the workout, she's like, hey, I've got to be out of here in, so many minutes. I'm like, really? I got to do these 10 sets. And so I tried to rush. After about the 3rd work set, I started rushing my breaks, and it didn't work. I failed there. So I had to drop 20 pounds off, drop down to 155. I took really short breaks on these. Some of these were a minute apart, which you guys know for max strength, a minute is not sufficient. So I started grinding, and then on the very last one, the 10th one, I told her I need a 3-minute break, and then I can do the set and we get out of here. And I took 10 minutes, and the last one was really fast, because see, these are a little slower. And I was actually really happy with my form on the 10th set, because I had time to take a breather, get a deep breath, and come in and do it. Now, the previous week, with this newer form I'm using, I came in and I did 155. I didn't film it. I did 6 sets of 5. So I thought I'd be fine to come in today and do the 175. And I might have been, if I had been able to be here a long enough time to give 5 or 6 minutes between sets. I wasn't, so it wasn't really an option. So I had to really cut this workout shorter than I wanted to. And so I had to drop down to the 155. Although I will say the bar speed wasn't what I would like to see. Wasn't what I would like to see with the 175. So what I may do is come in next week, go down to 165, and get 10 triples with really good speed. And if I can get 10 triples with the way it looks on the 10th set, this is the 9th set, because I was taking like 60 seconds. See, this one's a little slow, a little grindy, but it looks cleaner at least. I'm getting my head a little further forward. So again, I've got to keep working on that shoulder mobility. There you go, locked it. And then I said, okay, I've got to take 3 minutes. I can't keep doing these 60 seconds apart. So I do that, and then watch. This one was beautiful. I was really happy with this final set. Had the others looked like this, we'd have been great. I haven't even watched it yet. I'm watching it the first time on here, but it felt really good by me taking a full 3 minutes. Able to, yeah, look, just exploded up. Off the chest, boom. Off the chest, boom. Clean lockout. Easy. One of the other things you guys will notice there from behind, what I'm doing when I set this up, I'm bracing my triceps against my lats, because I have big enough lats to do that. And what I've noticed, it feels totally different. I'm not getting certain muscle pulls or strains or soreness in certain parts of like my infraspinous and stuff like that. By me adjusting the way I'm doing things too, my wrists don't get sore, my lower back doesn't get sore. And I really, really feel these in my entire shoulder girdle and my upper chest, which is really what we want. We're trying to grow delts, traps, upper chest, triceps. I'm feeling it more in the muscles I'm trying to work most, while still doing, big standing full body lifts, and I'm really happy with that. Now, back to the other point, what I'm probably going to do is try maybe 165 and make sure they all look pretty. So what I'm doing these days with my current training, because someone had asked me already, what's your current split look like? What are you doing? I know you're doing a split routine now. Yeah, and I'm doing a split routine based upon all the observations I've seen in myself and others over the years, all the work of various coaches, looking at the scientific literature on strength, hypertrophy, all of that. I'm an advanced enough lifter. I'm probably not going to benefit from a hypertrophy perspective from training a muscle more than twice a week. I'm picking 4 big exercises that have strength standards and 4 big exercises that are used in a couple of different types of competitive lifting, and I'm focusing on those. I give each one of them their own day. I have a squat day, I have a deadlift day, a bench press day, and an overhead press day. So when you think about the muscles involved, squats and deadlifts work pretty much the same muscles. Bench press and overhead press work very similar muscles. So I'm getting direct stimulation of almost every muscle twice a week. We also know that 7 sets of 3 builds just as much hypertrophy as 3 sets of 10. So my goal is to go beyond that, is to get 10 sets of 3 on every exercise. So what I'm going to do now at this point, rather than what I had been doing, if I only got 6 or 7 sets, I was working in accessory work to get extra volume, right? I think at this point, I'm not currently an advanced enough lifter again in rebuilding my strength. I don't think I need accessory work. I don't think I'm going to benefit from accessory work as much as just getting in more volume with my big lifts. I'm only doing each one once a week. All my muscle growth is coming from the overlap. So what I've decided to do, come in, work with a weight. I hope I can get 10 sets of 3 on, work towards it. And if I can't get 10 sets of 3, drop the weight until I can get all 10 sets. So in other words, like today, I couldn't get it with 175, so I dropped to 155. And I might have, if I had more time, I would have only done a 10-pound drop. So same thing with my bench press. Let's say I come in and I'm doing 275. For my pause bench to get my sets, if I can't get past the 7th set, I could drop down, I could take 10, 20 pounds off the bar. Do whatever it takes to get my 10 sets, get my volume with my primary lifts. And then what I've decided to do, I'm going to drop the silly strict curls. Yes, curling is a competitive lift. I'm not enjoying it. I don't want to sit around doing curls. It feels ridiculous to me, so I've gone back to chin-ups. I'm like, I've got this program balanced enough and my recovery balanced enough, I'm going to work chin-ups back in. So after each workout, when I get home, I'm going to bang out a couple sets of chin-ups. Every time I train, within reason, what I can handle after the fatigue of the main workout, and that will handle my biceps and other accessory work. And that should be sufficient to get me reasonably strong. And then, if this quits working, when it quits working, adjusting with the volume, adjusting with all the parameters of it, I will add accessories as they are needed. I don't think there's any need for them right now. I think I need more work on the big lifts themselves. Then, when that quits working or I'm unhappy with it, we add accessory work to address it. But for now, I can fill that volume in just doing slightly lighter weight on the main exercise. I think that's going to be the way to go. So I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.